It's time for Everything Noob, your source for all things gaming.
Episode 99 of the Everything Noob podcast. We've almost made it. Our biggest milestone yet. And we have a whole bunch to talk about.
But it's always the biggest milestone when we make a milestone.
That's true. It'll be our biggest one yet. I'm not wrong, right?
No, but you would always be right with that statement. There's no way you can have a smaller milestone than the last milestone.
Well, with as wrong as I always am, I need something that I can fall back on and say I was right about that.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about all the surprises, or spoil some of the surprises coming with episode 100. This week's theme, though, we do a theme every week, and this week we are talking DLC, game expansions, and just game add-ons in general. That is this week's theme for the show. And maybe before we get into that, we'll talk about what's in store for episode 100, though, since this giant milestone's coming up in 1 week's time. And we want everyone to know what to expect right off the bat. And we want you guys to start preparing tonight. So we have some cool stuff. And there's going to be some surprises as well. But we've decided that we're going to do our biggest giveaway we've done so far in the course of Everything Noob. We are giving away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 games. We may even throw a couple more in there as surprise games. But we're giving away games such as Terraria, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, Castle Crashers, Half-Life 2, for those of you who live under a rock and somehow don't have that game, Pixel Piracy, Tug, and a special surprise game as well, but only if we get 100 retweets on a tweet we're sending out after the show. So, this is big. Do you think we'll hit it?
I'm skeptical, but I think if people are psyched enough about the reward for reaching 100 retweet milestone, that we could hit it. I mean, it's a good enough prize that I think it's worth working for.
I myself will do this the honor of retweeting it. I'll give it the first one.
I'll give it the second. So really, they only need at least 98, unless Dreadlow doesn't throw down and make it 97.
I ain't gonna do it. No, I
wow.
Refuse. No, I'm just kidding. Of course I will.
They only need 97.
Yes. We'll point out the tweet after the show's about to wrap up. But if we get 100 retweets throughout the course of an entire week to do this, we will give away Borderlands the pre-sequel, which isn't even out yet. You can pre-order it on Steam right now. And that will be our big prize. If we get 100 retweets to celebrate episode 100, we will give away Borderlands the pre-sequel. So there you go. Our biggest giveaway yet. Of course, we'll also be going through some of our favorite memories from the past 100 episodes, reminiscing a bit, and some other surprises as well. So, and that show is going to be up to 2 hours long. Maybe a little bit shorter, but we're definitely going over an hour, which is usually, it won't always be like that. Just for this one special occasion, we're going to do a show that is well over an hour long. So
be prepared, podcast listeners.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
I also think if you guys are up for it, we could start an hour early on the live stream, but negotiable.
I think if we start an hour early, it should be just us kicking it, and that shouldn't be part of the show.
Yeah, we could do that.
Maybe do a live Q&A session or something like that, or just play a game with the audience.
Yeah, that would be fun too. Definitely show up twitch.tv/enoobs an hour early next week. We'll do something. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, let's get on to tonight's topic. Episode 100 coming soon, though. I'm so excited. I don't even want to talk about tonight's topic. Ugh. No.
I know,
It's worth the discussion. We have a lot to say about this. We decided to talk about DLC this evening, and not just DLC, but game add-ons in general. Upon the release of Disney Infinity, they just released Marvel, like their Marvel Disney Infinity package, and you can get like Captain America and Thor and Iron Man, and you can play as these characters in the game. And this kind of got me thinking, I mean, there's a lot of these now. There's a lot of game designers developing games that require you to not just buy the game, but you have to buy these toys to unlock characters in the game.
Yeah.
Well,
like
it's no different than DLC packs, though. Like, it's like, oh, you want to play this fighter and then your favorite fighting game? We'll pay $5-10 for this DLC pack. At least these kids get a physical toy to go with it.
well, you got to think. Remember Guitar Hero?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had to have the guitar, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you'd want it.
Yeah. Well, so you could play it without it.
See, that's the difference. You could play Guitar Hero if you somehow had some kind of magic powers. You could use the Xbox controller to fumble through all that. You wouldn't want to, but all the guitar
that'd
was
be
a
a
giant redesigned controller.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It came with most of the games. I mean, you could buy the game separate, and you could buy guitars separate too if you had multiplayer.
Right. What I would imagine that you can get different designs on the guitars too. So it just became a whole new, like, oh, I want that guitar. It's got a lightning bolt on it or something, you know?
Yeah. Well,
So this is kind of the same idea in a sense, except for obviously you're not going to buy as many. I mean, nobody's going to go out and buy 20, 30 guitars. But, you know.
for these prices, I don't think anyone's going to buy 20 or 30 Disney Infinity characters. We're looking at packages of 2 on Amazon right now for $34.99.
I think
That's
you
Wow.
greatly underestimate precious snowflake syndrome.
no, I know. I mean, I was a kid once, and I had obsessions that I begged my parents to help me fund. I get
Yeah,
it.
especially if, like, in the commercials of cartoons and you're watching cartoons on Disney Channel, you know, the first thing that comes up is the all new such and such toy for Disney Infinity just came out, you know, and it's something that you really want, you know.
Yeah.
Now you got to add it to your collection.
I used to sit in front of the TV as a kid, and every time a commercial came on, I was like, I want that. I want. And my mom would just
Oh,
like
yeah.
sit there with her Christmas list, just writing stuff down.
At least your mom did the Christmas list thing.
Yeah,
My mom
I
would be
know.
like, try to teach me that I shouldn't want everything from every
Yeah,
commercial.
I would get a fraction of what I wanted, of course, but it was she
give her
still
ideas.
talks about that. She's like, I know I don't know what to get you for Christmas because you're not sitting in front of the TV anymore screaming at it. I'm like, I don't know, give me a shirt or something.
It's like that's the whole thing, you know, when you have a kid, you have to get DLC for it,
Wow.
you know. Downloadable content for your child. So you have to go out and buy them toys and, you know, that's
Oh my
that's
God.
the whole point. That's the thing.
Wow. Raising children just became a quest.
Oh man.
Oh.
So Disney Infinity, yeah, I'm just kind of appalled at the prices because if you want it, you can compare it to League of Legends. Like just before the show, Jedlo made that comparison. Like in League of Legends, you unlock heroes by paying them money, but the heroes don't cost near as much because now we're dealing with physical objects that have to be produced in a factory. So the cost of production goes up, and then it's unlocking the character in general, which was going to be a price in itself. This is a much more expensive thing. And it's not just kids, though. We're seeing other YouTubers going and buying these and collecting them and spending a lot of money doing it. It's a crazy
Yeah.
market to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's your disposable income. If you want to throw it away on frivolous stuff, like, go ahead.
Well, I'm just imagining, you know, this kid getting these toys to add to his game and him breaking one. Then he can't have access to his, I don't know, maybe once you get the toy and you put it on the system itself, it maybe downloads and it keeps maybe you don't have to put the toy. I don't know. Do you have to put it on there?
That's how it kind of
yeah,
works.
I think you do.
You
Yeah,
put it
so
on there.
I think as long as you don't break the base of the toy, because that's where everything is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just an action figure glued to a data chip, basically.
yeah,
so
exactly.
as long as you
So
don't break
long as
the
you have the
base,
chip.
the toy would still technically work.
Yeah, well, that
Super glue
just
to the
kind of
rescue
sucks. So
there.
I mean, if I was a kid and I broke my toy, I wouldn't care. I want a new toy. I want it replaced.
They're basically solid plastic, from what I understand. I don't know. You'd have to try pretty hard to break them.
Thank you, super glue. So at least we have that.
I don't know. I've seen some kids break things that you wouldn't imagine you could break it.
Yeah. I know. See, I can sit here and go, oh my gosh, what a waste of money. Poor parents. They have to deal with like getting their kids all this clutter now, and they want every character. You know, they want to collect them all. But
Oh, yeah.
I know I'd be right there with them right now if I was that age again. and this came out, oh my god, that
Oh, I'd be all over this.
just because
Definitely.
they make it so cool looking. I mean, you have a character in your hand, you put it on a plate, and then it materializes before your eyes on the TV screen. And it's just a
That's
cool,
pretty cool.
like, ooh, and then you get to control them.
And then you show your friends, and your friends go, "Oh, that's cool,"
I don't
and then they
think
steal
if I
it
was
from
this
you.
age- No. I wouldn't care about this, honestly.
I feel like
if I was
Dreadlow had a
right
dark
age.
childhood. And then,
I wouldn't be surprised.
and then they steal them from you.
Yeah.
It's awful.
You live in the ghetto?
I don't know. I'm imagining this drawer dedicated to this system in your living room with your your console, and you got this system with all the toys thrown into this drawer. You know, they get lost, they get broken, whatever. It's just I'm thinking it's more of a gimmick than it is a nifty thing. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, if I was a kid, I'd love that. You know, even now, I would love to just set that on there and have it just appear on the screen. That's pretty cool. But I think it's a gimmick. It's kind of their way of, like we're talking about, downloadable content. It's their way of getting residual income from a game that's already been paid for and
Yeah.
pretty much done and complete.
Well, GameStop started taking them as and giving store credit for them, which I guess is kind of nice because.
Well, yeah, and we mentioned how many. This is we're talking about Disney Infinity,
Yeah.
but there's the Skylanders.
Skylanders was, I think, first. It's been around a little
Yeah.
bit longer, and that features like Spyro. If you've never played Spyro back in the day, awesome game about a purple dragon who did things and quests, and it's kind of like PlayStation's Mario in a sense. It played like that. You'd go through
200
portals but
There are 292 characters.
yeah, Skylanders is the same thing. You have a character in your hand, and you put it on a plate, and it materializes in the game, and it's a fighting game, and you can fight everyone with these characters. And yes, there are 292 different characters, some of the same exact one, just different colors.
Right. That's what I was asking
Limited
earlier.
edition. You have to get it, or no one will think you're special and
Yeah.
cool.
Remember, it reminds me of Pokemon cards, but a little more tangible.
The foil cards.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But except
Gotta
at
have
least
the
you
foil
can
ones.
you can look and see what you're getting. With Pokemon cards, you just buy a random mystery pack and you would hope to get one, But it's just as annoying as that,
Right.
if not more annoying, because at least cards you can store away easily enough. I feel bad for like the entertainment centers of a modern day family right now of like 4, where the kids have their Skylanders all over the living room. It's crazy that is it almost a backwards thing? That's what I feel like, because we had board games which took up physical space, and now we have these video games that don't take up as much space, and all the adventures happen on your TV screen, and now we're bringing them back into the living room.
It's like we're going backwards. We're like, okay.
Phones
it's the same
are getting
thing.
bigger.
Yeah. The cell phones, we were trying to shrink them as small as we can get them when they first came out because they were so huge when they first came out. And now we're going back to larger phones again. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, touch screen now, so you kind of have to have a larger screen, and people are watching movies on them,
Yeah.
and reading books, so
All
the
kinds
larger
of stuff
screen's
like that.
warranted.
Yeah.
I know. I agree. It's just funny. It's funny that technology will move forwards and backwards all the time. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool. And I think, I mean, personally, if I was 12 again, yes, I would be all over this. As an adult male now, I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, I'll just stick to Smite.
Yeah.
At least in Smite, the characters aren't cluttering up my office.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, it's all DLC. It's all, in a sense, downloadable content. But it's something else, too. It's not just downloadable content. It's just additional content. And it's the thing that's really crazy to me is that we're paying for games twice over, 3 times over, where we rebuy games all the time because they'll release a DLC that costs $20 on top of the $60 game you just bought and you played through, and now you're going back and you're playing through it again. And I've always had a problem with that, only because I play way too many games and I can't finish the original, so I don't even have time to buy the DLC. and now I'm missing out on all this other content that maybe I would have bought if I had played the game more. But it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't buy DLC unless I beat the game, and I have to really enjoy the game for me to consider DLC.
That's a good habit.
You see,
Yeah, it really is.
You think of games like Minecraft and Skyrim and all these different games that allow modding and modding capabilities. And that's kind of like what is happening with the DLC. They're just basically modifications or added stories or something to a game that you have to purchase and download to continue with your game or to add to it. Whereas with games like Skyrim and Minecraft, it's basically free, and then the community is involved in creating this quote-unquote DLC, if you want to call it that, or like it's a mod, basically.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some of these mods are like a DLC. I mean, literally in Minecraft, you can get a whole map with the questing system and everything else involved in it that adds to Minecraft, which could possibly be... Somebody would definitely buy that if it was actually sold.
Well,
but it's
Microsoft
free,
in charge, but that's
now that
that's
Microsoft's
a
in charge,
previous
it's a
show.
little different story. But yeah, I mean, it's like I just think that, and you only see DLC with major gaming networks, major gaming developers, like EA and
Well, I've seen indie
games like that.
titles spit out DLC for their games too once they get to that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like $1.75, $2 for DLC for like a good indie title, I think.
I guess my big
They're cheap.
hypothetical for you guys is comparing these games to MMOs, and MMOs have their own expansions and DLCs as well. But let's say you play an MMO and you justify it because in Jemmy's case, she plays the crap out of Final Fantasy XIV, and
Right.
Which I really barely played in the past week.
I don't believe you.
I didn't. I pretty much, for the most of the week, I didn't. I literally 2 days ago, I logged in and immediately logged off, and I played Minecraft.
Wow.
Wow.
Where was I for this?
I probably in bed because it was really late at night.
Well, anyway, so previous to this week, let's say a couple weeks ago.
Not counting this past week.
A couple weeks ago, you played that game and you said, well, I'm not buying other games. I'm paying a monthly fee for this game. And so, in a way, I'm kind of saving money, which I've said that too when I was like way addicted to World of Warcraft. I wasn't buying all the new games that came out. Now, comparing any other game to that model, do you think DLC is, kind of fair in that sense? Let's say you have, I just had the game right in my brain and it's gone now. Skyrim, it was a game like Skyrim. It's huge. You want to play that forever.
Yeah.
But it's single player. It's not an MMO. You paid $60 for it, and then you beat it, and you do all the side content you care to do, and now you're kind of bored with it. You wait for the DLC that comes out. If that's the only thing you're buying, it's still a savings. But then there's DLCs for everything. I mean, what if you, while waiting for that DLC, you bought SimCity, and now SimCity has a DLC out, and you're like,
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of want to get both of these now.
I think it's just the developers are trying to extend the life of the game, and they add content to it so that it could still be playable because there is an ending.
Well,
Whereas like games like Minecraft, there's no end. I mean, there is an end, but
They don't care about how long you play the game. They care about you buying it. So
Right.
DLC for them is all about pushing more money with very little to no development cost.
yeah.
yeah, but you see, you got they make money off of the microtransactions, but you got we were talking about MMOs with Blizzard. What they'll do is with WoW, they'll add an expansion, and this expansion, I've seen the expansions actually go up $10 every time they come out with an expansion. I don't know if they're still, hopefully they're staying at the same consistent price, unless I think
They're lowering the price of the previous ones and probably putting the other one.
right.
Yeah.
And so you're paying for this expansion, and it adds content to the game. It does.
So-
It adds content. So you pay for it, and then you don't get a free month or nothing that I know of. I never got one, and you're just paying this for this expansion. Whereas in a lot of your free to plays, they make their money off their microtransactions, but they're free expansions. I mean, the expansions come and they're added content to the game.
Well, yeah. My
And
hypothetical.
Well, no, there is a model for if you play DC Universe Online. They have it's free to play, but they have a subscription model and then you pay for these expansion packs, which are there's tiers of subscription, and you can pay the most subscription, and that's kind of the expansion packs are included in your subscription, or you can just have a free account or whatever, and then you buy access to the expanded content.
Yeah.
And so you essentially buy the DLC.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to pose like a hypothetical here, because here's what I'm thinking. Comparing to MMOs or just any model in general, do you think it's better to have a game endlessly create DLC/expansion packs, or do you think it's better for the game to not do that at all and create a sequel every time?
Yeah. See, I think with the fact that hardware, increases hardware gets better in time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you buy a new computer, within a couple years, you're buying another new computer. So if you get a game that, say, is good for the computer today, and in 2 years you buy a new computer, and they're just adding expansion packs to the game that they've already developed, well, then you're getting the same graphics and everything else that was in the original game.
Can I ask a question about this hypothetical?
Yeah, I'm alluding to something.
The quality of this DLC content we're getting in this universe, where it's like ridiculously long lifespan of games, by just like tripling the amount of DLC per game, is it better quality DLC, or is it the same garbage we're typically getting?
I mean, it depends. I'm alluding to a specific situation I've seen. Let's say it's the same quality, but think of other games too. Think of games that do it right, and think of games that do it wrong. And I mean, tell me, do you think it's better to expand on the story and the world they already made, or do you think it's better to revamp it every time and charge another $60 for a whole new game every time they get more money?
That's the why Elder Scrolls
I would
is
prefer
awesome.
the DLC.
I prefer like the Elder Scrolls. I prefer the idea of having a full game already completed, and then a few years down the road they come out with another Elder Scrolls. See, like they've done, because then they've bettered the graphics. See, they've upgraded the graphics. They've upgraded the content. New things that they might have learned in the development process. They can include engines like get updates, and now they can include other things that they couldn't include before in their game. So they don't have to, they just remake a game and make it part 2 or whatever. I think it's much better that way. I don't know. That's my opinion, but I think DLC just extends the life of an old game that may or may not look good on your computer.
So Jemmy says she prefers DLC.
I prefer DLC because that would be, I could revisit and keep visiting things I really did love, and I wouldn't be stuck with sequels that are absolute garbage and disappoint me, and I paid full price for it, and I'm furious because it's like I just wanted more of the same and you couldn't deliver. Then there's also it happened between different titles, because we see like Assassin's Creed where they're pushing out 2 or 3 games a year now.
Oh, yeah,
Call of Duty
yeah,
is the same deal, and it's tons of like DLC and stuff, and it's like there would be larger gaps, which means the graphics update between the games would be larger, the mechanics and stuff, they would actually have more time to actually really develop the game instead of we got to push out a new title.
Oh yeah, because they're trying
So
to.
I feel like the quality between each subsequent actual sequel would become better if we just jam-packed more DLC in between.
Okay. So here's what I'm alluding to. Here's what I'm kind of getting at with this hypothetical. Blizzard just announced that they have canned development on a project they've been working on for 7 years. It was Project Titan.
Oh yeah, I read about that. No, it was more than 7 years, I think, but
almost as long as
at least
WoW
7.
As WoW has been out. A new and exciting MMO. And that this was going to be their, answer to the next World of Warcraft, now that World of Warcraft's, getting up there. And they canned it. They didn't like it. They simply said, we didn't think it was fun. It's a game we wouldn't play ourselves. We didn't think it was fun. We're moving on. Now, this means that instead of developing this new game, if they were to release it, say, a couple years from now, we're probably going to see, I'm speculating this myself, we're probably going to see a lot more WoW DLCs than were originally planned, because now they're still going to want to push out something. And
right.
I think this is going to lead to more WoW DLCs, which is arguably a good thing or a bad. It just depends. You have your characters and everything you've been working on for years. You still have that. Great. Some of the expansions have improved on the graphics, which is, the answer to Dreadlow's qualm there.
Yeah.
So do you think that is better, or do you think that just sucks now? Because we have if we were waiting for that next Blizzard MMO, we're not going to get it for who knows how long.
Well, in the article I read, they kind of alluded to the fact that they have that Project Titan is gone and it is no more, but the team that was working on Titan is still together. So I think maybe while they did scrap Project Titan, they may have pieces of it that they're going to pull and kind of, at least theory and concept from that game and just kind of recycle it. Because that is a lot of money and a lot of development time just kicked to the can. And since the team is still technically together, I would assume there's something else they're doing, or they're pretty much starting from square one, like with it again.
Okay.
And not going down the road that they feel like this is what made it not fun. That is not going to be in there.
We're still talking about Blizzard, though, so this is definitely going to increase the time of a new MMO than we would have seen if Project Titan continued.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to be 40 by the time they put out a new MMO.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who has said, even on this podcast, I'm kind of over World of Warcraft. I didn't like the end game, blah, blah, blah. I personally would like to see another Blizzard MMO because there's a certain charm of World of Warcraft that I haven't really gotten with other MMOs I've tried.
I can't find it. I know. I'm the same way. I go in, if I was to go into World of Warcraft, I would just get sucked right back in again. It's something about it. It just feels right. Whatever they did right. I don't know if they sold their soul to Satan or what, but they got that game right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a right game. I could go back to it and be just sucked right in. Whereas any other MMO, I get bored of it real quick, and then I have to take a break for a while, and then I go back. You know what I mean? I literally had to basically just not have the money to go back to World of Warcraft to a point where that's why I don't play it. But man, I'd love to play it again,
Yeah,
it's a good game.
Sound like somebody who needs to go to an AA meeting for Blizzard, and wow.
Well,
it was
like,
fun. I loved it. I loved it. The politics of the game and all that stuff is the only thing I disliked.
Clean.
After our MMO show that we did, I started playing Arcade because it's free.
Yeah, we've been playing it.
And I like it, but again, it's missing that charm that World of Warcraft had. It's really close, but it's still missing something for me. And it's just, that's kind of what I'm feeling like, is if I go, because I've never played a World of Warcraft DLC, ever. Yeah. I never got that far. I got my character to basically maxed out in the original game, and I didn't like PvP in World of Warcraft. I'm not a big PvP person. I'd never had a big group of friends to go PvEing with, so I just kind of lost interest.
Well, Wrath of the Lich King is absolute best as far as I'm concerned. I haven't played past Cataclysm, but up to Cataclysm, I think Wrath of the Lich King, that was perfect. I think that's the best expansion they've had. Yeah. Now, a lot of people will argue with me, especially the hardcore WoW gamers. They'll sit there and say that the first expansion, Burning Crusade, was the best one. But
why are they saying it's bad? Is that because it catered to the hardcore audience of WoW the most?
It was just to them.
It was the most balanced.
Yeah, they felt like it was much harder. It was much harder for an easygoing player to get to a high point, where it was it was a challenge to those that really was really sucked into the game and was experts at it to get to the top. And so, with it now, it's like, you can level a character to level 90 in a few hours, literally.
No.
I mean, it's just no. I mean, it's going to take I'm talking hours within the day. I mean, it take a whole day. Just put it that way. You could probably level a character pretty quick. There's people that have done it, but it was just that's why they like the Burning Crusades, is because it was something that took a lot of skill. It took more of your ability to.
It didn't cater to these people who just want to play the end game.
Right. Now everything is like handed to you. I mean, it's just literally it's much easier. It's just much easier to get where you're going to go.
See, my theory, I never played Burning Crusade, but my theory is the reason people love Burning Crusade so much is probably because back in the day they were able to think of all the things the game didn't have and shove it into Burning Crusade. And then they released Burning Crusade with all these awesome things, and then the following expansion, we were like, well, we already have like a ton in this game now. Let's just kind of add some new quests and stuff. We kind of blew our load on Burning Crusade. That's my theory, anyway. That's why like Cataclysm changed the whole world of the
Well, yeah, and that was a change to add some features to the game that wouldn't have been possible otherwise, unless they did something drastic. And so they thought, why don't we just destroy the world and bring everybody back to it, and then have these new features in it. They basically reconstructed the whole game. They added, like I said, you can fly in areas where you couldn't fly before. So it's like they just, were able to add those features. Because it was kind of weird. You couldn't fly around in Stormwind, but yet you can go, wherever and you can fly. And still, I think they just made it a lot more consistent throughout the world.
Yeah.
With a lot of things, but
yeah. Either way, I just think it's interesting. I just wanted to pose that whole hypothetical situation because we're actually about to see something like that where Blizzard now has to look at their other game and go, well, we still want to make money other ways. What do we do? Well, let's keep adding on to World of Warcraft. People seem to keep buying that.
Yeah, so they'll probably,
and
well,
now
they still have the third StarCraft expansion to release.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got
which
that.
Just I'm so mad over StarCraft 2.
Maybe they'll add Pikachu Land to
seething.
WoW or something. I say that because of the panda thing, but they'll add something crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see World of Warcraft like capture me to some extent, but again, it's $15 a month that I just don't feel like spending on a game right now. Maybe I'll just stick to Arcade. But going back to some of the conversation we were having before, Disney Infinity and Skylanders, there was one thing I wanted to mention because we're already seeing games that aren't even out yet advertising that they're going to have this content, and a good example of that is Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. And if you haven't seen that, they are also going to be doing a similar Skylanders Disney Infinity setup where you can get characters and put them on your Wiimote, and they'll put themselves in the game. And the Wiimote even has the Wii, what do you call it? The Wii U frickin' tablet. It already has a section on it designated for a character being placed on top of it. I know.
That means they planned that.
Oh wow,
before
that's
it released.
interesting.
Yes. And now, does that kind of piss you off a little bit?
Of course. But Nintendo's done that since the beginning, though.
Pissed us
They
off?
always create. Oh no, they've always had expansion
Yeah, that too.
slots for their doodads and dongles and add-ons and whatever else they were going to add. They always had expansion slots or upgradable areas that they planned on you to buy or upgrade your system. I'm thinking about the N64 with the upgrade bit, but they always had like that, the ports and stuff, the special ports for these little dongles or whatever you were going to add into it later. They planned this, and then they were like, "We'll wait before we release it," just to kind of revamp interest and kind of like pull in more revenue over I guess when things were starting to stagnate.
Yeah, I mean,
now with Rumble feature.
I wasn't too upset about the fact that it was on the gamepad already. I think I was more upset about the game that it ended up being involved with, because Super Smash is all about, playing the game through, unlocking the characters, and it's fun. It's fun to go through that process, but now there's going to be a few people out there who go and buy these figurines, and they're going to have a character that you just can't have because you haven't gone out and bought it. So now me, as a 24-year-old adult, needs to go to Toys R Us or wherever they sell these and pick up the kits from Super Smash because I'm that jealous. I don't know if it'll get to that point, but I'm just saying.
But I would guess the target audience for Smash is not your age group.
Oh.
Now, I'm not saying that that's not who's buying it, but I'm guessing Nintendo's intended target audience is more towards the younger teenagers, to maybe a little younger than that. I would guess that they feel like that's their target audience.
I don't know. I mean, Excel in chat. I'm 28, and it sounds like he's in love with Toys R Us. He's trying to defend Toys R Us's honor as a 20-year-old.
Oh my god, the last time I was at Toys R Us, it was like the last time I ever am gonna walk into a Toys R Us. That was just, it was a mess.
Damn.
The store was a mess, and there was just so many screaming kids. I'm like, never again. If I have to go to a Toys R Us, it's just gonna be an Amazon
At my age, I'd be afraid to walk into a Toys R Us.
Really?
He gets arrested.
Especially by myself. Think about it.
They think you're Christmas shopping or something for your kid.
Yeah,
That's different
quit
around
checking
Christmas.
out little kids, bro.
Try doing it during the summer.
You have a kid with a birthday.
Yeah.
No, you'd have to go in there. Yeah, I mean, I'd feel more comfortable going there with maybe a kid, but you know what I'm saying?
Why don't you kidnap one?
Oh, yeah. Let's add to it.
Problem.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Kidnap
That'll
a
work.
kid, then you won't seem so creepy when you walk into Toys R Us. I'm sorry. I broke the show. I apologize.
Oh, I just.
Oh,
It's not
Good
creepy
stuff.
for an adult to go into Toys R Us alone. It's creepy if you go into Toys R Us and you don't look at toys and you're an adult.
yeah, that is true. Oh, man.
Okay.
Like, you need to look like you're on a mission and you need to keep all eyes on the toys, because that means you are in there to shop for a birthday or Christmas and you want a GTFO.
You know what? I have gone in there for, board games.
Oh, yeah,
There
yeah.
are some pretty cool board games. One was called Atmosphere. It was kind of like you put your CD in or DVD in, and you watch this dude, and it's a timer basically. Anyway, it's a pretty cool game. That's the only time I went in there. I don't know what else they have there. They got all kinds of.
They've got a good board game selection, but honestly, yeah, like Jemmy was saying, Amazon is probably the best place to go for anything now, especially if you're worried about looking creepy walking into a Toys R Us. If you're worried about looking creepy, you probably look creepy.
No,
Wow.
I would argue that if you're worried about looking creepy, you probably don't look as creepy as you think you do.
Yeah, you're really paranoid about looking creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And now you just look paranoid walking through Toys R Us.
exactly.
Which means
No, kidding.
it probably means he looks like you're trying to steal something.
Yeah. Not
No,
even a
I
kid.
felt
Good
like
job.
that.
You
When I
don't
go
look like
into
a pedo.
Walmart
You look like a
with
thief.
when I go into a Walmart with a jacket on, I feel like they're watching me. You know what I mean? I feel ugly. I do. I don't know why. I just do.
Is
So
the door
I like-
greeter going to chase you
I
out?
will leave my jacket in the car when I walk into a Walmart.
Even
I'd
in
rather
winter?
freeze to death. Yeah.
You're in Arizona.
Well, I'm in Arizona though.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Why do you even have a jacket?
Yeah,
It
does
gets
it
to
really
like
get,
30, 40 degrees over here.
wouldn't it be like a windbreaker only?
Yeah.
It gets pretty cold over here though.
If I lived in Arizona, I'd wear less clothing when it was 30 or 40 degrees because I'd be that happy for feeling that amount of cold
Exactly. You got it.
temperature. Well, I was going to say, before I completely broke the show, I was actually going to ask Jemmy if she had tried the Super Smash 3DS demo.
No.
Oh my
I
God. How?
I keep thinking about it, but I get distracted with other things. And like I said, like I had family down here this past week, and I was playing Minecraft because they just restarted the server and then restarted the server.
Ugh.
And I had this house that I absolutely loved. I was loving my base. It was like, oh, this is coming along nicely. And I wake up the next morning and everybody's on at 7 a.m. on this Minecraft server. And they're like, well, we had a little bit of a problem with the script on the server and it had to get restarted.
Oh,
And I was
God.
just like, and he's like, I almost went with the same
Oh.
seed. And I'm like, no, I'm kind of glad you didn't because it would just be too hard.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Try
playing
So
Super
now I
Smash.
have this house that I am not emotionally invested in, but I want to play. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Try playing Super Smash to cheer you up. The game's great. I was just a bit disappointed to see that they're already, not only are they talking DLC and expansions, they're talking physical things that you buy for your Wii U gamepad, and that just kind of set me off a little bit.
Which is kind of like why I would buy into the 3DS version, because at least then I don't have that kind of like marketplace built into the game.
Yeah, the 3DS version. If you have a 3DS, you can play the demo right now, and it's a pretty playable demo. It's nice, and the game came along really nicely. It plays very well on 3DS. I'm really impressed. Just because I love Super Smash. It probably could have played like crap, and I wouldn't know the difference because I'm that obsessed with this game.
Wow.
So we'll see. But other things. Speaking of Nintendo, Mario Kart 8 has an expansion coming out, and another thing Nintendo did that was kind of annoying is that when you update the game, it shows you where this expansion content is going to sit, and the expansion isn't even out yet. They're adding 16 new tracks altogether, though. It's basically doubling the size of the game. So I'm gonna get it. I'm really excited about it. But when you turn on my game right now, there are what is it, like 8 squares for separating like all the new tracks, showing you where these tracks are gonna go, and they sit there on your screen. You can't click them. They just sit there teasing you.
Well, because they want you to buy it.
But it's not out yet.
It's a little manipulative.
It is.
Though. Isn't there like a perk for pre-ordering all of it like in one go, and they're like trickling out this DLC?
You can pre-order it now and get it all for like a cheaper price or something. And I want to do that. I'm not against getting this DLC because Mario Kart DLC is awesome. I love that they're adding new tracks to the game because the tracks do get old really fast, especially when you play a lot of tournaments and you're just seeing the same ones over and over. I'm stoked, but I don't need to be, I don't need my my nerves like just when I see the screen and half of the tracks are just not even unlocked, and it's just they always sit there teasing me. It's not cool.
Are they at all allowing people to make their own tracks yet?
No, they're not going to do that.
No. That would be kind of hard. I wouldn't want that responsibility, especially with like.
Well, I mean, there's other games that allow you to do that. You can construct your own tracks and then put them online
aren't those games
for people to download.
Oh, Little Big Planet. You're thinking of the racing Little Big Planet game, right?
There's other games too besides that one even.
I've seen PC games that do that, but I can't imagine using the Wii U to construct a track because that would be the way it's done. You'd have to use the utility through the Wii U, and like I'm sure people would create amazing tracks, and then there would be a whole lot of garbage.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be.
Well, Little Big Planet's like that. Little Big Planet's an interesting example of this conversation because Little Big Planet 1 has, a full-on map. Little Big Planet is a game on PS3 and PS4 where you can basically make your own game within it. And they give you all the tools to make this awesome game. You can play through a story mode, and everything you see in the story mode can be recreated with the tools they give you. And they do a lot of stuff. It's really cool. And it's very addictive. It's a side-scroller, but it's also really 3D, and the graphics are awesome. They've made, I think they're on number 3 now, if I'm not mistaken. And it's interesting because people can make their own levels, and they upload them online, and people rate them and stuff, and people have whole series of levels they make. And so that in itself is like a game that's like never-ending content being produced for free. And yet they still have made sequels to this game, and people have still bought them. And the coolest part is you can even play the maps from the first game on the sequel, which is
Oh, wow.
nice. Yeah. But it's crazy. Like, you give the people the tools to make their own levels, and you would think they're not going to buy the game, the new one, because, I have enough content with this one. It's not even close. Like, the one thing the Little Big Planet 1 didn't have was water that you could swim in. It's like a huge oversight. And in Little Big Planet 2, they added that, and that was enough to make people's eyes melt out of their faces.
Really? And just water?
Yep, just water. Because there's so many things you could do now that you couldn't do before.
Wow.
Just like in terms of levels you can create. You can recreate Mario levels now, the underwater levels. You can... I don't know. I'm not very creative, so I can't give you very good examples. But
I just feel like if water was the only thing they added, should they have
that was
made
the
a new
big
game?
thing. There was plenty
They
more,
should
but that
have.
was the one I remember because that wasn't in the first game. So it's just cool.
Otherwise,
because,
they could just patch it in,
yeah, you could do whatever you wanted with it, and yeah, the graphics are really, really gorgeous. It's such a visually appealing game. It got me to buy a PS3. That and the fact that it was a Blu-ray player. I bought a Little Big Planet, a PS3, and I was happy. I played that game a lot. So I don't know. It's just, and that game also has DLC on top of everything else. You can even buy character skins and stuff. And people do it. It's just they make money at every different angle, and they give us the tools to make our own content.
That's pretty cool.
People love cosmetic stuff, though.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's so attracted to Minecraft. Same reason. They can create their own environment around them.
I
think that's just so much fun.
Yeah, anyone who says though that like Minecraft DLC wouldn't work because people just make their own content now with modding and stuff. Little Big Planet is the perfect example of a game that gave people the tools and then continued pushing out purchasable content that got purchased.
Yeah, I could see Microsoft going for like we talked about before, a Minecraft 2.0 and maybe implementing stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm excited. That's all I have to say.
As long as they don't program it in Java, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like... We could go back. Minecraft is such a huge catalyst, like in the gaming world. We could go back to that every single show.
Every single show.
Still have more to say about it.
I know.
Nothing's developed on that, by the way. I did say in previous episodes we'd talk about it if anything else has come out.
Oh, is that going to be just our weekly update? Nothing is developed in the Microsoft purchase?
Nothing.
We're
We just
still
know they
waiting.
were purchased.
Yeah.
That's it.
The deal, I think, is yet to be finalized, and it's business as usual. I mean, they're still talking about making updates for Pocket Edition. Notch is still tweeting random things.
I'm going to say that you're really not going to see a big change in Minecraft for at least a year.
Yeah. Well,
Because they got to get in there and see what's going on before they change anything.
so much broken code.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But I mean, they have to look at the business model they have and like what's going on in the office and like what notes of stuff they had planned versus what's in there, what works, what doesn't. They also need to make decisions. Do we want to just kind of leave Minecraft as it is and then start on a sequel, or gut it and try to change it a little bit and then hold off on that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of business options to be made with that. And then, just acquiring companies. A lot of times there's a clause in the contract that nothing will change for a year or two.
I'm thinking Microsoft is going to want it to end, though. As far as because you got to understand, Jeb has been adding to the game. He's been tinkering with it. Every update, there's something new. There's got to be an end to it. It's got to stop somewhere. You know what I mean? There's got to be like, okay, this is official. This is it right here. And then Microsoft can start working on a sequel. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's the first move, is just to get it to end. Okay, where are we going to stop? When are we going to stop? What more plans do you have for Minecraft? Jeb's going to lay it out on the tie-up table, and then they're going to get it done, and then come out
Some
with
of
a new
those
one.
features they may just save for the sequel, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. They did say they want to make their money back
By next year.
by next year. So
Well, that's not going to be through a new game, though.
It's
Like,
got to be through mobile, something like that.
It's got to
it
be
is.
through what they already have in the market or new merchandise, which is just basically printing logos.
Yeah.
So
Well, I've been stalling for a minute, and now I appreciate you guys carrying on that conversation for me. Haha. Because now
I feel used.
I tricked you. Now I can talk about a little more about episode 100 and give some more details about this mystery tweet and all these things. So after the show, a few things are going to happen. We are going to put out a tweet, and you will then, if you want this mystery game to even have a chance to win it, you will have to retweet it. And it needs to get 100 retweets.
It's not a mystery though. It's
Well, no, yeah,
Borderlands.
it's a mystery if we'll see the retweets then.
No, let's make it.
It's our own personal prize DLC.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make a point here. I mean, some people might not have Twitter access, whatever. You don't have to tweet to be a part of this, but you're going to obviously want to. You know what I mean? I mean, if you got Twitter and you can do that, definitely tweet it. You want there to be the 100 retweets. But that's not a necessary factor into winning the game, correct? They don't.
No, if you retweet this tweet or not, if you don't retweet this tweet, it doesn't matter. The tweet needs to get at least 100 retweets, and
Right.
it doesn't mean you're eligible or not eligible if you do or don't. If it gets 100
Correct.
retweets,
Just going into the prize pool.
yes, it goes into the
Yeah,
prize
just don't-
pool.
Yeah.
If it gets 100 retweets, it's the first thing we'll give away on the
So
show next
everybody
week.
is included. Yeah.
Everyone will be included. Whoever wins that won't be able to win the next games, and we'll just go down the list. So the tweet will be sent out, and once the show notes go up, we'll have a sign-up form in there. You'll need to give us a screen name, whatever, it doesn't matter, an email address for sure, and if you would like, you can also add optionally your Steam address in that box, and that way we can give you the game if you win easier.
All these schemes are all these games are given away through Steam though,
Yes.
so you will need a Steam account to claim your prize.
Yes.
Right.
We've had prizes in the past that people have won and not claimed, which is always frustrating. Be sure if you're entering the contest, you actually do want to win. If you have the game already, you're going to get it in gift form, so you can re-gift it if you'd like.
Do you have to? Chat's asking if we have to be at the live show to win.
No.
We
that's-
want you to be.
We want you to be. But
And
that's
you'll
why
know
we're,
Yeah, of
sooner
course.
if you're at the live
Well,
show.
I mean, not everybody
but-
can make it at the particular time that we're.
Yeah. So,
So-
we want you to be, but we're starting the drawing process now, so you guys have an entire week. All the audio listeners right now, if you're listening before episode 100 is out, you have a chance to sign up because we're giving people an entire week to sign up. So, and, obviously you'll probably see this tweet getting retweeted a little bit too. So, yeah, it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited for episode 100. I'm still trying to pull some strings and get some other surprises for the show, but we do have a lot of things planned already, and it should be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Yeah.
We're shooting for 2 hours, but of course, if we run out of things to say in that 2 hours, usually we're used to sitting here and talking for an hour, and sometimes we,
Talk about nothing.
yeah,
No, I was kidding.
we'll
I
go
feel like
over
we
the
can have
hour.
Steam.
We'll go over the hour a lot, but
Yeah.
the question is, do we have enough Steam for 2?
We have enough Steam games. No, it's
We have enough Steam games for sure.
I do have enough Steam games to maintain play for 2 hours, I'm sure.
There is one more thing, though, that I wanted to also push to you guys, you audio listeners, Twitch viewers, YouTube viewers, whatever it may be. We want as many people on this show as possible. And what I mean by that is we would like it if you would go to our website, hit the Contact Us button, and you can leave a voicemail directly on the webpage. You don't need a phone anymore. You don't need anything but a microphone on your computer. And you can just hit a button and record a message, and we'll get it, and we can play it on the show. If you would like to, what we would like you to do is share one of your favorite moments from the past 100 episodes. But if you can't think of one, you can also just ask a question. You can give us a topic you would like us to discuss that night. Like, hey, what do you think of this? This is going on in the gaming world right now. What do you think? We'll play your messages on the show. We would really love to start doing that more and more. And I would love it if episode 100 was the big kickoff to more of those voice messages. And if the mailbox fills up, you can still use your cell phone to call and leave a message like you could before.
Yep.
So
Or complain at us to empty the mailbox. So you can't leave it.
Well, with the setup we have now, we can only accept a certain number. So
Yeah, but you could pull it down and off. And
no,
open.
it's like a monthly thing. Like you can only
Really?
accept
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if it gets popular enough, we'll expand it for sure.
Okay.
obviously, yeah.
But for now, we're just keeping it at the limit it has. So, not a big deal if it does, because you can always leave a voicemail, and it's just as easy for us to pull that voicemail and play it on the show as it is to pull this audio computer message. So,
Right.
either way, I just wanted to go into a little extra detail about that tonight because episode 100 is coming up next week, and we want to make sure it's fun. We want to make sure everyone who wants to be included can be included. We want to give people a chance to win these awesome games. So it should be a lot of fun. Now, I've composed the tweet. It's almost ready to go out. Can we get 100 retweets for episode 100 of Everything Noob? Join us at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday, October 6th, for giveaways. I'm still writing it.
Oh, we are live tweeting as we cast.
Yes. For giveaways, memories, and more. And then the link to the Twitch chat.
GMM.
And I've gone over my tweet limit, so I'm going to have to...
#we.
I can't even... I'm like, I have to delete some characters now. But I'll figure it out. It's going to sound
Emma
like...
Watson.
Adam Watson. An inside joke nobody gets, but like
I know.
myself and Frodo.
Hey, I follow your Twitter and his. I know it.
Basically, we always try to
Mention-
get Emma Watson to play games with us. She never does.
She didn't even reply.
No, she doesn't even show up.
She didn't even say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, and she doesn't RSVP. She's very rude.
Wow.
Now you know a little bit more about Emma Watson.
Oh, chat's like, why don't you mention Borderlands in the tweet?
I only have so much space for the tweet. I have to say Borderlands the pre-sequel, because I could just say Borderlands and people think
You
it's
could
Borderlands
put like BL3,
BL 2.5.
or something like that. Or, well, yeah, I guess it's.
It's 1.5. Borderlands the pre-sequel. So it's the sequel to 1, but the prequel to 2.
No, it'd be 0.5 then.
That would be
Oh,
the
wait.
sequel to... That'd be the pre-sequel to 1.
Oh, it'd be 1.5. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1.5.
For October 6th, to win BL 1.5. Okay, so join us at 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday, October 6th, to win Borderlands 1. If anyone even gets that reference, BL, Battle
Yeah.
Life.
What are they gonna?
I don't know. You could just put it to win Borderlands. The new Borderlands game.
I have 11
Tune in.
characters left with this method.
You'd think that Twitter by this time would have extended the letter cap, but
No, it's all based on how much you could text in one text, and that texting limit is still there.
I know. I mean, you'd think they would expand it a little bit, like even if it was just 200 characters, even that's plenty.
I'll take out Monday because Monday, October 6th is redundant. Join us at 9 p.m. Eastern, October 6th, to win Borderlands 1.5. And then the link. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we get 100 retweets for episode 100 of Everything New? Join us at 9 p.m. Eastern, October 6th, to win Borderlands 1.5.
Oh, well, Gem's sister just wrote a tweet for you. 100 retweets unlocks Borderlands giveaway date and time. Except spell it right, apparently, and not put boar as in the animal, Derland.
Borderlands. I've done that, though. Like, I always mix that up. Okay. All right. There you go. 100 retweets unlocks Borderlands. Unlocks. See, I almost spelled it that way. Borderlands 1.5 giveaway. Join us October 6th 9 p.m. Eastern over here.
Tweeting's hard work. I think it's taken us 2 minutes.
I
to
like
craft
it
this
though
tweet.
because you have to be creative with your Twitter. But anyway, we are out of time. Look for that tweet. Be sure to retweet it. And if it gets 100 retweets, we'll give away Borderlands the pre-sequel. Thank you so much for listening tonight to the Everything Noob podcast. We will see you next week for episode 100. We're excited. Hype it. Hype it, hype it, hype it, my friends. All right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Everything Noob podcast. Be sure to visit everythingnoob.com for previous episodes, show notes, host bios, and blogs. And while you're there, feel free to write us with any questions, comments, or suggestions you may have. Don't forget to check out the links to our Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch TV channel as well. On behalf of the noobs, see you next week, and happy gaming.